Okay. We are live. We are live. We have Rihanna here, and I am Jared. So, we are going to talk about the housing crisis in America today.
Especially affordable housing.
Yes, affordable housing. The solution, or so we assume, to the housing crisis in America. If we can afford houses, then we have places to live and there's no crisis. We have nothing to worry about, right?
Yeah,
Shelter, great.
life will be easier.
Yes, we're chilling. We're chilling. Okay, so according to the Department of Housing and Urban Development, 770,000 people were homeless on a given night in 2024. Did you know that?
No, I didn't. That's a very good idea that you mentioned the statistic in it because not a lot of people understood the statistic.
Yeah, yeah, they don't understand like how bad the lack of houses are. The lack of
The lack
houses
of
is
community, the lack of
how big a
empathy.
problem this is, essentially.
Mhm.
How big a problem this is. Wouldn't it be nice if we could move out of our parents' house before 40, right?
Yes and no.
No one,
Because once you move
no,
out, you're fending for yourself. No more asking mom,
no,
no
yeah,
more
it's a
asking
big
dad for
responsibility
anything.
living on your own. Yes,
Hmm.
yes, yes, and no. There are pros and cons.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's talk a little bit more about the housing crisis in America. Housing insecurity is the result of high housing costs relative to income and is associated with poor housing quality, unstable neighborhoods such as the Black community, overcrowding, and homelessness. Of course, homelessness.
Bringing up I like the fact that you brought up overcrowding, but did you know the fact that if you look into properties and the statistics of properties, over 30 people are stuffed into one property building, which
Wow,
isn't enough for just everyone to rest their heads. It's more of a place for a safe security.
man, yeah, tough, tough. Well, yeah. Let's talk about a couple potential solutions to the housing crisis, like starter homes, for instance. Have you heard of starter homes?
Starter homes is a good way to also build solutions, build help for people who might need it.
You've heard of starter homes. You've heard of starter homes. We talked about it earlier. That's okay. Let's go. Okay. Starter homes are entry-level properties that first-time buyers generally look at with the intention of living in them for a short time before moving on to a larger home. Yes, we are all aware. You are aware of this. But
Yes.
and now our audience is too. You
Building
you know
off of
about the ups and downs of starter homes then too, right?
the ups and downs is
The
it's
pros and
just mainly
cons.
about the fact of making sure we have enough supplies or making sure that we have enough lots or enough land to make sure we have the shelter.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Two pros are the low price point and the lower property taxes, according to Rocket Mortgage. So, starter homes are cheaper. They're cheaper, and the tax you won't be taxed as heavily if you choose to buy a starter home instead of a something else, a different kind of home.
Building off of that, you won't also be paying any property taxes because once you build a good house or a pretty house in a very chaotic or ghetto area,
Yeah, yeah,
it
yeah,
brings the factor of the property taxes just goes through the roof.
yeah, and we'll talk more about that later. Gentrification. Um, yeah, downsides. That's a downside, right?
Hmm.
Gentrification, higher property taxes. But we're talking about starter homes. Starter homes have downsides.
A
They're
lot.
smaller and they may need repairs and they can be hard to sell. Did you know that? That's
Yes.
according to Rocket Mortgage. That's a good source, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, Rocket Mortgage, really good source
Rocket
of
Mortgage confines in um a lot of information where you could actually pull information about your data.
yes, you
And
know,
I'm going to add on to that fact about also how the shelter homes are desizing. So for me, I realized that when I looked up at New Jersey Housing Resource Center, we have shelter housing, but rarely anybody knows about them. And that's another issue because we have them, but then no one knows about it. And how is that going to affect anyone if they don't know about it or if it's not actually
yeah, they need to
public?
do, yeah, they need to do a better job of marketing those solutions to problems, which is the whole idea behind business. I'd love to get into that, but we're not talking about that right now. Starter homes are an example of how we might increase the supply of houses on the market. So let's talk more about that. I think you when we were talking earlier, you mentioned a couple ideas related to increasing the supply of houses on the market.
Yes.
Okay.
Some ideas that we could even do is just by one by making sure we have advertising and making sure that we have the funding for it. And if once we have the funding or once we actually have the assistance we need, we could actually build so much. We could do a lot with just a little bit of funding could take us a long way.
Yeah, just a little bit of funding could take us a long way. Hey, that's good. More houses, more problems solved.
Life will be easier for everyone.
Yes. That is the central idea of this presentation. We all want to live an easy life. But life is hard. Life is hard. But we
Yeah,
all
we have
have
to find
problems.
the loopholes
Anyway,
around it.
let's talk about solving those problems. Increasing house supply involves legalizing apartments and ADUs, eliminating single family zoning, using vacant public land for housing, and funding new affordable rental home units. I believe you mentioned something earlier about Airbnbs
Yes.
before we started talking.
So I'm not sure if you ever heard of a community called Renting Home. Renting a home is practically like an Airbnb. So, for an example, let's just say you have a friend and you have a hard situation going on and you no longer have your home. You reach out to your friend and say, okay, they have your basement. Your friend just asks you, okay, you can stay here as long as you need, but let's just say you can pay 200, 300. It would never be over 1,000 you're paying a month. Rent a home is a similar way where we could find shelter or find help because those are similar in Airbnbs. Airbnbs are also compact to where, yes, they might be small, but don't think of the size of how small it is. Think about how it could impact you in the long run because when you're in an Airbnb now, think about 2 years, 3 years down the line where it could help you save your money to actually get in your house of your dreams.
Yeah, yeah. So like starter homes, you get your foot in the door with a cheap house,
Mhm.
and then you're able to stack your bread, and then get a better house in the future, a more permanent home. Stability. That's what we all want. Stability.
Building off of that, a lot of people also think about vouchers.
Yeah.
Effective of last year, due to COVID, a lot of mayors, Newark mayors, a lot of cities, a lot of states added something called a Housing Choice Voucher Program, other known as HCV. On the NJ.gov page, it talks about how it's a federal program, yes, but it's a voucher to get your foot into the door. Meaning, let's just say you go into this meeting today and you say, okay, you want a two-bedroom, two bath, but you want it
Hmm.
for affordable housing. They'll just say, okay, they'll give you a call saying that yes, you won the lottery. The lottery is after when you put in the voucher. The lottery is basically just saying that, okay, you won the two bedroom, you won the two bath. All you have to pay is they pay a down payment of $20 and you can move in for $200 a month.
A down payment of $20, and then you can move in for $200 a month. Wow. Why don't we all do that? Yeah. Home
It's limited to
ownership.
a lot of people. It goes
Yeah,
through a
yeah,
little selection of who actually deserves it compared to who doesn't.
yeah. We all need a place to live. Home ownership is crucial because a monthly mortgage payment not only is a house a place to live, not only is a house shelter, a monthly mortgage payment allows homeowners to accumulate equity and build wealth over time, according to Brookings Institution.
Hmm.
So owning a home actually makes you money in the long run.
It does.
Yeah, so we should all own homes. We should all own homes. It's
If
generally
it was that
considered a good
easy, we
idea
all would.
to own a home. Yeah, but increasing the supply of houses on the market does not come without consequences.
Agreed.
Yeah. So there's all these new homes on the market, like starter homes, cheap, affordable, and everybody
Hmm.
wants them, right? Huge demand for houses. Institutional investors are purchasing lower cost starter homes for their portfolios. They're using these cheap, affordable houses as assets. They're so rather than low income households being able to buy these houses for themselves, which is like the whole point behind building starter homes,
Hmm.
these rich people are taking advantage of that uh, to actually prey upon these low income households. Isn't that ironic? Isn't that ironic?
It is because, like, recently, I'm not sure if it was all over the world or if it was just mainly Jersey and New York, but I know we recently just came out of a national government shutdown. And for that national government shutdown, it stopped and paused um, so many family members reward from the government. For an example, SNAP, which is food stamp, or TANF, which is a kind of a housing part where the government helps you pay part of your bill for your rent. Or even Section 8, a lot of people were evicted because they had Section 8 because of the government shutdown. The government shutdown affected a lot of people. Not only it affected the poor, but it also made the richer get richer by, like you were
Yep,
saying,
rich are
by
getting richer.
taking money
Kendrick
from the
Lamar would have
poor.
to say a lot about that, which is I'm glad you mentioned Section 8 because that's the name of one of his albums. Just a little tidbit. No, but go
Yeah.
on.
And Section 8 is also It's it's something that works with affordable housing. However, when you go into New Jersey Gov or Gale site, Gale for CCM database, they talk about how Section 8 was mainly used for affordable housing. Affordable housing was used for Section 8 because Section 8 was mainly used for people who, excuse me, was mainly used for people who maybe, let's just say, worked 2 or 3 jobs and was barely coming home with the littlest amount, and they also had kids. We all know that when families have kids and they cannot financially support themselves, they give me a second, my little brother's coming.
I'll pause. And we're live again. Okay. So let's move on. Let's move on. Let's move on. It's all well and good if we have homes to buy, right? But what if we can't afford them? We need money to buy homes.
If we can't afford it, well, then we seek for help. And what I mean by we seek for help is we actually take advantage of the people who is willing to help us and not just sit there, stress our minds out, but we actually ask for the help that we may need. And like the example I gave earlier, where let's just say you had a friend, you could ask her if, oh, do you have a basement where I could stay in? And if they say yes, then they can help you. Or if they just say, "Oh, hey, I have a spare bedroom if you need to," that's asking for help. That's where you can save your money and actually get the help you need, or even assistance shelters.
Solid advice. Solid advice. Did you know that the goal of providing financial assistance and protection to low income households is to help them afford, not only to help them afford housing, obviously, but to maintain stability in communities? Like, so we all benefit when people can afford to buy homes
True
because
point.
then communities are stable, less poverty, less crime, better education, better health. We all gotta eat. So, yeah. Things like food stamps, eviction prevention programs, and expanding federal rental assistance are all examples of helping people afford homes.
Yes.
And there are good things and bad things about that.
Yeah.
There are good things and there are bad things about that. What do you have to say?
There's more. I kind of disagree, but I
Yeah,
see where you're coming from because there are.
nothing comes without consequence. Nothing comes without consequence.
You're true, correct on that. Like mainly there, kind of. This is my personal opinion. I kind of see that comes with more cons than pros because at the same given point, it's like you put all your trust in a company, or you put in all your trust or your funds in a company, and then you're never hearing anything back. And then you're sitting there more and more stressing and more worried because now you have an eviction letter on your door. What's going to happen next?
Yeah. What's going to happen next? No one can predict the future. The the Minnesota Housing Startup Program is an example of a policy that provides down payment and closing cost loans to low income buyers. It
Mhm.
makes the initial expense of purchasing a starter home accessible, according to the Minneapolis Fed. So
I agree.
there's a solution. There's a solution.
There is, but
If
let
you
me
want to
ask
buy
you
a
a question.
home,
Is that
that that
solution,
right there can help you buy a home.
let me ask you a question. Is that solution capable for everyone, or is it just capable
Right,
for
right.
people who
Is
want to
everyone
become
going?
rich?
Yes, yes. Who has access to this opportunity to buy a cheap home? That's the question.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't know. According to the Minneapolis Fed, we've got a huge lack of inventory. That's a direct quote from them. The problem, as illustrated by this quote, is the shortage in the supply of houses. So like we have all these houses on the market. We don't have oh no. I'm sorry. You might have money. You might have money, but there are no houses on the market. You can't buy a house if there are no houses to buy.
True point.
Excuse me. So we have this opportunity from the Minnesota Housing Startup Program that it makes starter homes easy for you to buy. Great. Starter homes might be a good option for you.
Mm-hmm.
But there are no houses to buy. There are no houses to buy. Even if it's easy to buy a home, you can't necessarily buy a home if there's no home to buy. You see what I'm saying here? Yeah.
How are we supposed to fend for something if we don't even know what we're fending for?
Yeah. And then how does that tie in to access to the opportunity that makes it easy to buy a starter home, like you said earlier? So there are levels to this.
There,
Nothing's easy. Nothing's easy, but we want it to be easy. So this is a
it's
very
a journey
complex
that we
issue,
all
as
have
you
to,
can
of
see.
course.
This is why this problem still exists. Yeah. So increasing housing supply and providing financial assistance to those in need are essentially two interrelated concepts, aren't they?
Yes,
Yes.
I agree with that because a lot of people think affordable housing and sustainable housing is the similar thing. It's not. Sustainable housing is okay. I'm going to give an example as this, where you can say that, oh, I have $3,000 in my pocket right now. An affordable housing person would say, oh, well, I don't even know how I'm going to make next month's rent.
Yeah.
A lot of people think that stability and affordable means the same thing. It really doesn't, because stability means, okay, you know you're the journey, you know how to accomplish the journey, you know your loopholes around the journey. However, affordable housing people, they are still working their way on figuring out their journey and figuring out the process of how to even start that journey.
Yeah. We're all on a journey. And sometimes it can be stressful. So when it's not stressful because solutions to our problems exist, that's great, isn't it? But let's wrap this up. So if you want to be able to own a home of your own someday, then best of luck to you, right? We're on this journey. Good luck. If you want a home, you could get a home. There are opportunities that exist for you, but
Yes.
they're
Saving is
good.
key.
Yeah, it's you gotta read the fine print. So starter homes might be a good option for you if you're a first time home buyer. And let's not forget how increasing housing supply and providing financial assistance to low income households play pivotal roles in keeping the price of houses affordable.
For all, not just for the poor, but for all.
All right, and that's all I have to say. How about you, Rayhana? Okay, signing out.